Good morning. This is Ms. Marshall, Judge Barry's judicial case manager. This is a quick status hearing this morning. I believe the court is going to establish Christmas visitation, but a few housekeeping matters. These are public hearings. Courtroom 5C is open and available to the public. We're also streaming live on YouTube. The YouTube link, Zoom link, and password are available on the court's webpage. Please be mindful of your background noise and your background environment. You must adhere to and abide by professional courtroom decorum. That means no smoking, no drinking, no eating, no driving, or walking through the halls of your business or residence. So that means Mr. Hickson, you need to get somewhere and get stable during these proceedings. And thank you all very much for your patience. Find a place where you can be seated. Mr. Hickson, please. And we'll get started shortly. Thank you. This is Division 10 with the Honorable Tangela Berry presiding. All videos open, please.
Hello, good morning. How are you? Let's see. I see Ms. Walter, Mr. Hickson, Ms. Cook. Excellent. All right. Good morning. We are here so that we can determine what we're going to do for Christmas. Let me start by swearing Ms. Cook and Mr. Hickson in. Please raise your right hands. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I couldn't hear you because you're both on mute.
Yes.
Mr. Hickson? You're on mute still, Mr. Hickson.
I do.
Okay. Okay, your mic looks like it's off. Can you try that one more time? Or did you turn it back on? Did you purposely mute yourself again?
No,
Okay.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Oh,
Okay, just
okay.
wanted to double check. All right, thank you. Ms. Walter, you look really pretty this morning. I like your hair. I'm assuming your nuptials went well.
Thank you, Your Honor. We actually had to postpone.
Oh, no, I apologize. Okay, well,
No,
your
it's
hair is
okay.
just beautiful just because, huh?
Thank you. Thank you.
All right then. So let me go ahead and start with you, Miss Cook, and if you give me an idea of how the Thanksgiving exchange went.
It went fine. My only issue is that he has to make his way to my car every time. And it's
What do you mean?
bothering my daughter. Like, he has to come to the car, open the door for him and look in the car.
Why does he have to do that?
I don't know.
Man,
That's the only issue.
Okay. So did you mention that you wanted to do something different to him? Did you mention I want to do something different?
No. I was saying that at the exchange, he comes to my car, and it's making my older daughter uncomfortable. So every time he comes to the car, she's recording him.
Yes, I understand that. What I'm asking is, did you tell him not to do that for you to do something else? Have you all discussed something else? Like, have you told him, don't do that?
No, it's in the paperwork that he stayed 25 feet away.
Right. And I'm just wondering if you mentioned it.
No.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure you all didn't discuss something for that made what I said differently. Like, for example, you all discussed for him to, bring him to your car, but it made your daughter uncomfortable, whatever. I just want to make sure there was no discussion between the two of you to do something different.
No.
Okay, so great. And what about your son? The situation with him when he came in, what was his spirits like? How did he behave?
He seemed to be fine. He's happy spending time with him.
Seemed fine. Okay, that's good. All right. And then for the Christmas break, do you have any ideas in mind with regard to how that should be split?
No, not really. I would just like him in the morning. That's all. I mean, he could spend time with them.
All right, morning time. Okay. All right then. Thank you. Mr. Hickson, let me ask you about how Thanksgiving went.
I think it went pretty well. He wants to spend the night, but of course I have to tell him not right now, let me and your mom work out some stuff and we'll get it back to where it used to be. He likes hanging out with his brother, and everything else I think he's getting back to normal. Everything is getting back to normal, I would say.
Okay. Now, what about bringing the child to the car when you recognize that the order indicates you're to say 20? Well, I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember there was a
It's 25 feet, but the meeting place where we meet at and where she parks, it's dark and it's in the middle of the street. So I'm not going, it's in front of the police station, but the police station is across the street. So therefore I either have to get him out the car to walk him to the car because it's on Hosea Williams. It's a busy 2-lane street with restaurants and things of that nature. So it's constantly has cars going up and down. So
y'all are crossing, he's crossing the street?
No, he's not. So where she parks, it's facing, how can I say this? Do you know where the Chick-fil-A is by the courthouse?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's on a street like that. So say like if you're going towards the courthouse, those cars are going both ways. So I have to block off traffic or stop in the middle of the road to let him out and get him in the car safely. There's no exchange of words between me and her daughter.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me just stop you. I'm a little confused. You don't park your car?
Yes, I park the car. I have to block traffic. I have to stop in the middle of traffic from where she parks until he gets in the car on a busy highway, on a busy street. There's restaurants and things of that nature on that street.
Are you in a parking lot or are you in the street?
On the street where she parks at.
There's no sidewalk.
It's all the way on the other side, but where she parks, her baby daughter sits in the back of the passenger and he sits directly behind her. So therefore I have to block his pathway so oncoming cars will not hit him. I would rather for the car to hit the back of my car or me than hit my son.
Okay, I'm a little confused with regard to that. Let me just ask you, Ms. Cook, is there another area that you can park, another place where you can park? So whatever Mr. Hickson is describing, which I can't understand, perhaps you can.
I'm sorry.
Would be a little safer for the transition.
Where I park, it's like parking spots, and then next to that is a bike lane. So, and the street is never busy.
The street is always busy.
So what I'm asking is there another area where you can park or move? Is there something you can do to make it safer for the transition?
I mean, it could be safer, but by the time he never parks. He parks like on the side of my car. It's easy for me to get out and get him, but it's too late because he already right there at the door. So
okay, so tell me what you would like the transition to look like so he doesn't have to come to your car. What would you like that to look like?
I mean, it's possible I could get out my car, but by the time I get ready to get out, he's already there. But I could get out my car. And
get out your car and go where?
Sometimes, I mean, it's okay for him to park behind me. I can get out and open the door for my son. I don't need him to come to the car.
Got it.
But
okay.
It's just by the time I do.
So you just want, got it. So no problem. He can park behind you, but you don't want him to get out of the car. You want to go to his car?
No, I could get out. If he parks directly behind me, I can get out and open the door for my son.
Your Honor, if I may interject.
Yes, Ms. Walter.
That's still going to have the minor child walking by himself for a period of time on Hosea, which I know is very, very busy. Is there any type of parking lot anywhere around that area that, and I'm not, it's been a minute.
Well, they just told me they weren't in a parking lot. I just asked were they in the parking lot. They both said yes.
No, they're saying they're on the side of the street and street parking is my understanding. So it's a bike lane, the regular lanes, and street parking. And that's the issue that I think we're all having. He's blocking cars.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So we're on the side of the street.
Yes, Your Honor.
So not a parking lot, that's a parking space.
Space,
Okay,
right.
okay,
I'm
we
sorry,
need to
Your
find,
Honor.
okay, we need to find a parking lot.
Lot.
Or you need a sidewalk where if you can park on the side of the street, but the child can get out and walk the sidewalk, that's okay. You see what I mean? But you can't have him walking the side of the street.
And I
to get
think
to
what
the car.
Mr. Hickson was also adding is that although he may be able to walk down the sidewalk, he will still have to go around the car to the driver's side to get in because the other child, Miss Cook's other child, sits on the passenger back seat.
Okay, and we move
at
her,
some
if
time
we
he
move
will-
that child over, would that alleviate the problem?
I believe
Yeah.
that child is
Yeah.
younger, so she may be in a car seat, but I think the best thing would be a parking lot. So we just
Okay.
have the child off the street.
Okay, Ms. Cook, which one would you rather do? Move your child's seat position over or find a parking lot?
On the other side of the street is no parking, police only, and it's a parking lot right there, but it's police only. So, I would have to move the baby over.
Okay, that's fine. So we'll move the child over, that way he can get out, walk the sidewalk and get into the car by himself. All right, that's fine. So that it will change the exchange. Okay. Now, as far as Christmas is concerned, how do you feel about overnights now, Ms. Cook? Seeing that everything went fine, he seemed to come in fine. He wanted to spend time with his dad, and dad is saying he asked about spending the night and that he wants to spend time with his brother.
I'm fine with it.
Okay, so, so what time do you want to exchange on Christmas morning? What time, what would be a good exchange morning time?
Noon is fine.
What, Mr. Hickson, how do you feel about noon?
I'm perfectly great with it. Anytime I
Alright.
can get with them.
Noon, okay, and how many days do you think would be good to start the overnight again?
Are you asking me?
Yes, I am.
Your Honor, if I could propose,
Sure.
I believe since Ms. Cook has already had the start of the break until noon on Christmas,
Uh-huh.
if we could do the noon on Christmas until the return of school.
Oh, no, that's an
before.
extremely long time. That's an extremely long time because for trying to transition back, remember? So I need to be mindful of that as well. Now, I don't mind us doing a little bit, maybe like we do like a 2-day chunk, go back 2-day chunk, a 2-day chunk like that, go back and forth like that might be a possibility. Ms. Cook, what's in your mind?
Possibly one day at a time.
Okay, one day at a time kind of gives me,
Like
makes
he
a little
could-
bit, gives a little bit of your meeting up with each other a little bit more frequently. That gives me a little bit more concern.
Your Honor, I also think that's unreasonable for one day at a time. The minor child, we do have a text message from the minor child of him asking to spend the night with dad. He's saying he misses his brother, he misses spending time with dad. So I think a 2-day chunk at a time, one overnight, 2 overnights would be reasonable. And then as far as the New Year Eve and New Year Day schedule, we could do it similar to Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Well, Christmas Day.
Okay, can you say that one more time for me, Ms. Walter? What
Yes,
was
Your Honor. I said that the one overnight, I believe, is very unreasonable as a minor child has texted dad and asked for overnights with dad. He's saying that he misses his brother, which we do have that text message. I do believe that 2 night overnight would be a great start, or 3, whatever the court is comfortable with. And as far as New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, doing it similar to Christmas, the Christmas schedule.
Okay.
And Your Honor, if I may, also, if we are going to go back into overnights for Christmas break, Are we also going to go into overnights for regular visitation? Or would the court like us to come back before that?
I'm gonna meet with the child afterwards, and then we'll figure out how he feels and
Okay.
kind of go back where, make sure that everything is working well. Try to make sure he's comfortable.
Sounds great, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna do 2 days at a time. So after the 25th at 12, the next exchange will happen on the 28th at, excuse me.
And excuse me, Your Honor,
Yes.
my apologies for interrupting. I do have one concern. With Miss Cook, we had a verbal disagreement where we were getting haircuts, and she kind of embarrassed my son, and it was time for me to get him. And of course, we were running late, and I texted her, and she made the comment, and I was like, what am I gonna do? Something? I'm his daddy. And she's telling him he doesn't have a father. And I don't want these kind of comments going around my son.
I have no idea what you just said to me.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I just didn't, it was just kind of disjointed. I don't know what you,
Miss
I don't know
Cook,
what you.
Miss Cook is telling my son that he does not have a father. And
Okay,
she'll
and
make
when,
sure.
you got to give me context. When was this? Where were you? Y'all
We
shouldn't
were
even
at-
be in the same room. I don't understand.
Me and my son were getting our haircuts on a Friday. And I guess she forgot that I was supposed to get him. And she's yelling and screaming and telling him he doesn't have a father.
Yelling and screaming where?
We were on the phone. And so instead of engaging with her, I just hung up the phone on her because
Okay, yeah, okay. Okay. Yelling and screaming in front of the child, or just you?
in front of the child and in front of witnesses,
Okay, how is that if she's on the phone?
because he'll bring me the phone and he'll feel like he's in trouble. And I'm trying to reassure him that he's
Mr.
not in
Hickson,
trouble.
Mr. Hickson, listen to my question. How is it she cussing and embarrassing on the phone? How is that? Did you have the phone on speaker?
Yes, it was on speaker.
Why?
Because he'll bring me the phone and he'll put it on speaker. He likes to use my phone, and I'll
Yeah,
let
but
him.
you know how to take it off speaker, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, next time do that so that you won't, you can't have other people listening in on it. All you have to do is take it off speaker, and particularly him. He shouldn't even hear the exchange between the both of you. I'll deal with the type of exchange you have, but more importantly, you got to stop it from the get and not have him hear that, because that's unnecessary. You just take the phone off speaker.
Well, it's being said to him also, because he'll just feel sad, and he doesn't want to disappoint his mother, or he doesn't want to disappoint me. And
Okay, Mr. Hickson, today is not the day. Okay,
all right.
I don't know what he's saying to either of you. And I'm not even going to try to guess, because both of you, there's no way one kid could be saying the exact opposite to each of you. Okay, so, or if he's doing it because he is trying to please both of you, which is the reason why I need a guardian ad litem to kind of figure it out. Okay, right now, let's just kind of focus on getting this exchange done. Okay, because what you're doing is you're bringing up other things. And when you start giving me information that's inconsistent with things, then that means I got to start reacting to it. Okay. And I really just want to get this exchange done rather than trying to deal with those things that are between the two of you right now. Okay. All right. Because we can do this exchange without both of you even talking to each other, if possible. Okay. You could just send each other a text. All right. So we don't have to deal with that. Now, the 28th at noon. 2 days after that would be so the 31st, if we exchange on the 31st, to the 31st, so mom would get the child back on the 28th, return the child back to dad on the 31st at noon. So dad, you will get New Year's Eve going into New Year's Day. And then you will exchange at noon on New Year's Day. All right, and then everything, hold up, let me see, school starts that following week. So 1, 2, and then you'll exchange on January 4th at noon.
He goes to
And-
school on the 3rd. They
Oh,
go
they
back
go back-
January 3rd.
I thought they went back on the 9th. Okay, maybe I'm on my college son's routine. Sorry, I think it was the 9th. Okay, all right, then everything will go back. So at noon, then everything will be fine. Well, everything will go back to the regular time period. Okay, so you're going to exchange Christmas at noon. Then you're going to exchange again on the 28th at noon. And you're going to exchange on the 31st at noon. No. Yes, the 31st at noon. And then
And then on the
you'll
1st.
pick them up on the 1st at noon. All right. The meet place, as we talked about, we're gonna move the child over so he can get out of the car on himself, walk the back route and get into the other car. So you don't have any exchange. Unless it's urgent, just send each other text messages. It's the best way because then I can know exactly what you said to each other and how you said it. Okay, text message only. All right. Unless it's an urgent emergency. Okay. All right, then. And then I'll find another date that we'll have our another date. I think Mr. Love just told me they have a guardian ad litem in place. So guardian ad litem should be reaching out soon.
They sent me I don't qualify because they told me to answer the questions, and I don't qualify because me or the child don't live in DeKalb County.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they sent me like it was like some questions that they asked.
Right.
And one is yes to all of the questions except for one. That's the number 2 question saying, I live in DeKalb County. So.
Okay. Did someone tell you that, or that's what the questionnaire asked you as you checked it off, you recognize that?
It was the questionnaire. They emailed me Friday.
Did they respond to you and say you don't qualify, we're not going to help?
No, they just told me to fill it out, sign it, send it back.
Just fill it out, sign it, send it back. Let me just see what that's about, okay? Because sometimes we have people who are not in the same county, and I've never heard anybody get rejected, but there could be new procedures. We'll look into it.
I got an email from the guardian ad litem, Your Honor, and they did say one was getting in place. So I think we're good to go. That was Friday evening.
Okay, all right.
Your Honor, I believe that was just to get some information on where she lived in Cobb County.
Okay, all right then. So I think we're good. All right then. Thank you, Ms. Walter. If you feel prepare that order for me, and everyone, y'all. If I sure I won't see you. Have a good holiday. Happy holidays. I'll take care.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.